I just want to welcome y'all here. If you were here with us last week, you kind of know what we're doing. You kind of know what this series is about. It's called Trusting the Promiser. And what we're doing is we're looking at the life of Moses and trying to glean something from him, trying to learn something from his life. And what we're trying to learn is, how did he trust God even when things looked awful? When Moses was standing at the edge of the Red Sea, how did he still trust God? When Moses' parents placed him in the wicker basket, how did they still trust God? And if you weren't here last week, let me catch you up a little bit. That's what Dr. Coster talked about. He talked about the birth of Moses and the promises that Moses' parents must have held in the back of their heads as they placed their child in a basket and sent him down the river. If you were here, just let me remind you, if you weren't, again, I'm just catching you up, but Christ said that God's promises do three things to us. He said they can produce faith in the worst of situations. He said then they produce this pain of expectation. We know something's coming. We know we have a hope, but we can't see it or tangibly grab it, but we know it's there. The last thing that Christ said God's promises do is they create an opportunity for God to work in real people, in real time, in real space. And that's where we find ourselves tonight. God has created for himself a people. He has created for himself a space in which he will then act in real time and real history. If you want to go ahead and turn or tap to Exodus 3, that's where we're going to be. We're going to be looking at and trying to learn from Moses' personal encounter with God in Exodus 3 at the burning bush. And while you're flipping or tapping there, let me set the scene for you. Because between this week and last week, we came about 40 years in Moses' life. So we're trying to go real slow. And what he's doing is, ever since he got pulled up out of the Nile, he's kind of lived a really different life than the rest of the Hebrews in Egypt had. And if you know anything about the Hebrew history, you'll know that they were enslaved to the Egyptians, and basically they were treated as dogs, as second-class citizens. But Moses, on the other hand, was raised by Pharaoh's daughter in the house of Pharaoh, and that's pretty much all we know. The Bible doesn't tell us much else. But what we can assume from that is that he had a pretty lavish life. He probably didn't live anything like the people that he identified with. And what's crazy is that even 40 years after living like that, he still identified with those people. It's crazy that somebody who grew up extremely privileged could still remember where he came from and remember the promises of God and keep those in the back of his head. And that's what led him to identify with the Hebrew people. So then he identifies with the Hebrew people, and because of his identification as a Hebrew, he kills an Egyptian, is basically what happens. He sees an Egyptian beating a Hebrew and he kills him, and then he flees to a place called Midian, where he gets married to this guy's daughter, this priest's daughter, and he has a kid, and that's where we find him. Now he's working for his father-in-law, tending this flock, and that's where we are in Moses' life. But where we are in salvation history is that God has decided to do something about the situation in Egypt. He has decided that it is now time for him to act in real time and real space to deliver his people to further his kingdom. So I'm going to actually start in 2:23 and read through 25, but then I'm going to go right into 3 where y'all are at. During those many days, the king of Egypt died, and the people of Israel groaned because of their slavery and cried out for help. They cried for rescue from slavery. Their cry for rescue from slavery came up to God, and God heard their groaning. And God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. God saw the people of Israel, and God knew. This is where we're going to start with our story with Moses. 3:1. Now Moses was keeping the flock of his father Jethro, the priest of Midian. And he led his flock to the west side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame out of the midst of a bush. And behold, the bush was burning, yet it was not consumed. And Moses said, I will turn aside to see this great sight of why the bush is not burning. When the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called out from out of the bush, Moses, Moses! And he said, Here I am. And he said, Do not come near, take off your sandals from your feet, for the place which you are standing is holy ground. And he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. Then the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and I have heard their cry because of their taskmasters. I know their suffering, and I have come down to deliver them out of the hands of the Egyptians and bring them up into that land, which is a good and a broad land. This land is flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, Slavites. And now, behold, the crowd of the people of Israel has come to me. And I have also seen the oppression with which the Egyptians oppressed them. Come, and I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the children out of Egypt? And God said, but I will be with you. And this shall be the sign for you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. So here we have Moses tending the flock of his father-in-law, when all of a sudden he sees this burning bush. And he pretty much does what every white girl does in any given horror movie. And he starts to go towards the thing which any of us would automatically run away from. Like, if this was the story of Jay Roland in Exodus 3, he'd be like, Jay Roland saw a fire, and the bush was not burning. And then Jay Roland ran away. And that'd be the end of the story. Like, that's why God didn't use me in the burning bush story. So Moses starts walking towards this bush that is on fire, but it's not burning. And if that isn't crazy enough, a voice comes from the bush and just calls out his name, Moses. And automatically, I think Moses goes from the brave white girl in the horror movie to deer in headlights. Just absolutely frozen. Because not only is the bush burning, but not being burnt, but now the bush is talking. So this is insane. So then Moses is absolutely terrified, but then God starts to identify himself. So we can see that Moses is just terrified, he's hiding his face, and then God says that I am the God of Abraham and of Jacob and of Isaac. And if you remember what we talked about last week with Chrysler, or if you just listen to me like kind of recap a little bit, you'll realize that those names kind of meant something to the people of Israel. And we know that Moses identified with the Hebrews, so automatically when he hears that, hey, I'm the God of Abraham, and of Isaac, and of Jacob, his wheels start turning. He goes from terrified to slightly less terrified, and hey, I think I know this God. Because if we're right, and if Moses identified himself with the Hebrews, then this is the God that he prayed to, this is the God that he read about, and this is the God that he learned all of the promises were from. And so then Moses starts to get these wheels turning and start thinking, and immediately God starts talking again before he can probably even process what he's just heard. And God says, I have surely seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and I have heard their cry. God goes on to say that he is promising to deliver these people out of Egypt. The time has come for him to do something in history. Right? That's what we read about in 23 through 25, is that God has decided to do something, and now he's going to do it. And that's absolutely insane. And I think a lot of times, I'm going to stop right here for a second, but a lot of times we grow up in Sunday school and we read this story about Moses at the burning bush, and we just try to take a trait of leadership or of moral character and apply it here. But I don't really think that's what it's getting at. And then so Moses says, who am I to go to Pharaoh? Who am I to go speak to Pharaoh? And God's answers, I'm going to be with you, and the sign that I'm going to be with you is after you've already done it, you're going to worship me here at this mountain. And I bet Moses is just like, okay, like, the sign that I'm going to do this is that I'm going to already do it, and then you're going to tell me that, yo, I told you so. Like, that's kind of God's sign for him. But again, I think we listen to this over and over again. We try to take some trait of like, hey, we should be brave like Moses and not run away from burning bushes or something. But I don't think that's like truly the narrative of this story. And in order to get a little bit closer to it, I want to ask you a question. And it's, why are we here? Why are we here every week? Why do we gather in Merritt or FCA, BC, and RUF? Why do we gather on Sundays? Why do we gather on Wednesdays? Is it to read a really old book and learn about a really old shepherd and try to glean something from him? I'm not really convinced it's that. Is it to just study the Israeli history and just learn about the Israeli history and we're better people? Now, I'm really not convinced of that either, because if it was just about history, if it was just about Moses, if it was just about different characters in the Bible, then we wouldn't sing, and we wouldn't celebrate, we wouldn't have joy, we wouldn't have hope, and we definitely wouldn't pray. You see, what this story, what this narrative is really getting at is that God reveals himself. That Creator has revealed himself to creation, and that of itself is absolutely mind-boggling, or it should be. The Creator of the universe has revealed himself to creation. And I think sometimes on a Christian campus in the Bible Belt, we kind of hear that and we just, okay, like God reveals himself. That's a thing. But no, if you really think about it, the almighty Creator of the universe, the one who created the stars, has now decided, hey, not only am I going to listen to these people, I'm going to hear their afflictions. And not only that, but I'm going to understand them. Like, it's one thing for you to go talk to somebody about your problems. It's another thing for somebody to understand what you're going through. Right? There's a whole deeper level to that. And a whole nother level when that person decides, hey, I'm not just going to understand what you're going through. I'm actually going to try to do something about it. I'm going to try to change your circumstance. And I think it's awesome when people do that. I think it's crazy when God does that. I think it's absolutely crazy. I think we're way too numb to the gospel to hear that God has revealed himself, and he has revealed himself to be a God who hears us and who understands us and is going to do something for us and not celebrate every time we hear it. I just think it's crazy. And honestly, I was convicted of it. Because when Luke asked me to speak, I was like, yeah, I'll read about Moses, I'll give him a good leadership trait to walk away with. And then God really convicted me like, hey, Jay, I revealed myself to Moses in a burning bush. And then I saved everybody out of Egypt. And I was like, oh, okay. I'll preach. Yeah, that's just absolutely incredible. That a God would reveal himself, that a God would listen, that a God would understand, and it's most definitely crazy that God would choose to do something for us. That God would choose to do something for the people of Israel. And see, these people aren't that different from us. We may have way better circumstances than them. We're not slaves. We may be here thousands of years later, but we're still the same sinners. We're still the same people who take God's name in vain. We're still the same blasphemers. College students, we're still the same gluttons. But God has chosen to act on our behalf. Even that of Moses, a murderer. God has revealed himself to us. And this changes everything about what we think about the world, what we think about each other, and what we should think about God. Let's pick back up with Moses. Verse 13, it says, Then Moses said to God, If I come to the people of Israel and say to them, The God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they will ask me, What is his name? What am I going to say to them? And God said to Moses, I am who I am. And he said, Say this to the people of Israel, I am has sent me to you. Say this to the people of Israel, The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and thus I am to be remembered throughout all generations. Go and gather the elders of Israel together and say to them, The Lord, the God of your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has appeared to me, saying, I have observed you, and what has been done to you. And I promise that I will bring you out of the affliction of Egypt into the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey. And they will listen to your voice. And you and the elders of Israel shall go to the king of Egypt and say to him, The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. And now let us go a 3-day journey into the wilderness that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless compelled by a mighty hand. So I will stretch out my hand, and I will strike Egypt with all the wonders that I will do in it. And after that he will let you go. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And when you go, you shall not go empty. But each woman ask of her neighbor, and any woman who lives in her house, for silver or gold jewelry, and for clothing. You shall give these to your sons and your daughters, and so you shall plunder the Egyptians. When I was reading this, I kind of took a step back, and I just thought about, where's Moses in the story? Right now, he's just seen a burning bush talking to him. He's now ain't got no shoes on. He has been told that he is talking to God. God has told him that he is promising him that he is going to deliver the people out of Egypt. And the first words out of Moses' mouth is, hey, what am I going to say to the people when they ask me what your name is? And the first thought that came to my head is, seriously? Like the God of the universe has promised you that he is going to do something through you, and your first question is what are they going to think about you? And I thought about that for a second, and I was like, why are you doubting? And even though I said that, immediately the next thought came, and I was like, don't we doubt like that? God has revealed himself to us. If you say you're a Christian and you're in this room, God has revealed himself to you. If you say you are a Christian, then you believe that God has revealed himself in the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and that he has poured his Spirit out among you, and that means that God has revealed himself to you. And if you say those things about yourself, then you probably still have doubts. Even though God has revealed himself to you to be good and to be faithful and to be self-sacrificing and to be loving, you still question him. And I don't get why I doubt. But I think we can kind of identify with Moses here. Even though God promises us all these things, how can we still look at his face and say, how? What will they think of me? But God answers him. Patiently and faithfully, God answers him. God says that he is to go to the people of Israel and he is to say, the Lord your God has sent you. The I am has sent you. And to our 21st century ears, that might not mean much. The I am, that I am. The Lord your God has sent me to you. That doesn't really ring with us how it would have ringed with the people of Israel. So just give me a second to explain this to you. God's doing kind of a twofold type of thing here. When he says he is the I am that I am, he's using the first person personal of the verb to be. So he is saying that he is the present God. He is the one who is and who will be. And then he kind of couples that, I'm the ever-present God, with Yahweh, Lord. The first time God uses it in the third person in the Old Testament. And what that does is it kind of pairs Moses' present context with all the promises that we keep hearing about. We keep hearing this thing of, I am the God of your fathers, the God of Jacob and Abraham and Isaac. And we keep hearing that over and over again, and you're going to hear it more times when I read this passage. And it's because God's trying to do something. He's trying to remind his people of his promises, and he's trying to bring them to a place where they can remember these promises and then stack that on top of, yes, I'm the Lord your God. I'm the one who promised Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. I'm the one who brought them to where they are now. And I am also the one who is the ever-present Lord. God is doing so much more than we might hear at first. Because what he is saying here is that he is the one who makes promises and he is the one who keeps promises. And he is essentially telling Moses to tell the people of Israel, hey, do you remember who God is? Yeah, that guy. The guy who promised Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. The guy who delivered him. Yeah, him. He's still here. And he's still good. And he's still present. And he's going to be present. And he's going to be with us. That's what God's communicating when he says, I am who I am, and tell them that the Lord your God has sent you. One of the greatest fictional characters of all time, in my personal opinion, once said this. Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if only one would remember to turn on the light. And by the looks on your faces right now, about 4 of you are freaking out because you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're having one little nerd moment, and the rest of you have no idea. That's Albus Dumbledore from Harry Potter. One of the greatest characters in fictional history. And what's crazy, he didn't say that in the book, just FYI. He said it in the movie. But the reason I say this quote is because I think it's so true. Even in the darkest of times, if we would just turn on the light. We just need to turn on the light. And that's what God's trying to do to the people of Israel right now. He says, I'm the ever-present Lord, and I'm also the one who keeps his promises to you. Just remember me. Just remember to turn on the light. And I think that even now, even in 2017, God is telling us to turn on the light. You see, if Albus Dumbledore was a biblical theologian, I think I did a pretty good job if you've seen movies and stuff. But I think he would say it more like this. Peace can be found, Rest can be found. Hope can be found. Even in the bondage of slavery in Egypt, or even in sin, if only one remembers to turn on the light of remembering God's promises. God is trying to get these people to reflect and to remember on what He has done for them. This concept isn't really that foreign to us, right? Like, I want you to think about right now the person that you trust the most in your life, whether that be your mom, your dad, your friend, your mentor. Like when something goes wrong, who do you go to? Who can you trust to tell something that you wouldn't tell anybody else? I want you to think of that person in your head. And I want you to think of the last time that you got coffee with that person or got lunch with that person or whatever. And did they have to win your trust that day for you to tell them something? Did they have to buy your coffee and retell your life story over and over again to get you to trust them? No. Probably not, unless y'all have a really weird relationship. But probably not, right? Probably you just trust them because in the past they've been good to you and they've loved you really well. And that's why you can go to them. And God's saying, look, I've loved you so well. I've brought you where you are, and I promise I'm going to take you where you are. Rest in my character. Rest in who I have been, because I'm going to continue to be that. I am who I am. He's going to continue to be this good God. He's telling Moses that when they ask you who I am, you don't have to give them a whole history lesson. Just tell them He's God. He's the same God He was. He's still that same God, and He's going to be that same God. God wants us, and God wanted Moses to reflect daily on what He has done, to remember His promises, reflect on His character, and then act from that going forward. And not to act before we do that. We're going to pick back up in 4:1. Then Moses answered God, but behold, they won't believe me or listen to my voice, for what will they say? The Lord did not appear to you. The Lord said to him, what's that in your hand? And he answered, a staff. Throw it on the ground. And so Moses threw it on the ground and became a serpent. And Moses ran from it. But the Lord said to Moses, put your hand on it and catch it by the tail. So he put his hand out and caught it, and it became a staff in his hand, that they might believe that the Lord, the God of our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and of Jacob, has appeared to you. And again the Lord said to him, put your hand inside your cloak. And when he did and took it out, behold, his hand was leprous, like snow. And then God said to him, put your hand back inside. And so he did. And when he took it back out, behold, it was restored to the rest of his flesh. And God said, if they will not believe you or listen to these latter signs, show them another sign. Go and take some water from the Nile and pour it on dry ground, and the water that you take from the Nile will become blood. But Moses said to the Lord, O my Lord, but I am not eloquent, either in the past or since you have spoken to me, but I am slow of speech and of tongue. Then the Lord said to him, who has made man's mouth? Who makes him mute, or deaf, or seeing, or blind? Is it not I? Is it not I, the Lord? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth, and I will teach you what you shall say. But Moses said, God, please send someone else. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, and he said, is there not Aaron, your brother, the Levite? I know that he can speak well. And behold, he is coming out to meet you, and when he sees you, he will be glad to start. You shall speak to him and put the words in his mouth, and I will be with your mouth and with his. And I will teach you both what to say. He shall speak to the people, and he shall be your mouthpiece, and you shall be a God to him. Now take in your hand the staff with which you shall do the signs. What Moses is encountering here is God's call on his life. God has called Moses to do what he has called him to do, which is to be the spokesperson for his people. He is calling Moses to take part in what he is about to do in the world. But as we can see, Moses is extremely hesitant. He keeps trying to, I'm not a good speaker. God, no, I'm not eloquent. Oh, God, they're not going to believe me. He keeps going up with all these excuses. Pretty good excuses. And we can sit here all day and point to this or that and say, that's it. That's why Moses didn't want to go speak. No. It was this over here. That's the reason Moses didn't want to go speak. But I want to throw something out here. This is why I believe that Moses didn't want to go speak. I think he's self-centered. And I don't mean selfish. This is what I mean. Like, we all have that one person in our life, and you're going to know immediately when I say this who it is, who thinks that every conversation is about them. When you're laying in bed at night and like your roommate's across the room from you and you're all just having a conversation about what you saw on Twitter, there's that other guy who's like, hey, talk about me? Like, no. Like, for me, this is my sister. Like, me and my mom will be sharing a meal and we talk about schoolwork. She's like, hey, you talking about me? Like, no, nobody's talking about you. You were not even in the conversation. You weren't going to be in the conversation. You're not even in the picture. I don't like talking about you. I shouldn't have said that. It's you. Anyway, so we all have that one person, you know what I'm talking about those. I mean, they're not selfish necessarily. They just think that everything's about them. They think that every conversation is about them. And I think this is what Moses is doing here, because he hears God saying, I'm going to deliver these people out of Egypt. You're going to be the spokesperson, right? And what Moses is hearing isn't, God's going to deliver the people out of Egypt. God's going to use me. What he's hearing is, I'm going to deliver the people out of Egypt. I'm going to have to speak to Pharaoh after I killed somebody 40 years ago. I'm going to have to, and he just keeps coming up with all these excuses because he's being extremely self-centered. But I think that what he's not saying is that he's not the center of God's plans. No matter how highly or how lowly Moses thinks of himself, he's still not the center. God is. God is going to be the one. God is the one promising, and God is the one acting on the promise. And that's the way it's always been, and that's the way it's always going to be. God has revealed that he is going to deliver Israel. God has reminded Moses of who has directed Israel's history. And he has told Moses that it will be he that leads Israel out of slavery. Why Moses can't see it, I don't know. But Moses is not being called to lead Israel out of the Exodus. He's being called to obedience and faith by letting God work through him. You see, I think this narrative can go perfectly with this. That I don't think Moses' calling was based on his talents at all. I don't think any of our callings are based on our talents. I don't think our callings are necessarily to certain things. I think our callings are to obedience and faith. And to obey God in faith and let him work through you. God calls us to faith. Faith that results in obedience. And obedience that does not result in you doing something for God, but God doing something through you. God reveals himself. He reminds us of his promises, and he'll call us. These actions of God are clearly visible throughout this whole narrative and throughout all of Scripture. You see, we can glean so much from Moses' encounter with God in English. But I think we need to ask this question: how does this relate to college-age Christians in 2017? We're talking about a man who lived thousands of years ago, who was 40 years old. Not relatable, right? Unless you're Christ, then you can come up here and kill it. Talking about a murderer, talking about a shepherd. I'm not a shepherd. I'm guessing none of you are shepherds. How do we relate to him? It's because I think that, again, this isn't about Moses. It's just about God. And so the questions we need to be asking is not how do we relate to Moses? What leadership traits can we take from Moses? Does God still work this way? Does God still act this way? Does God treat us this way? And I think all of those answers are a resounding yes. Because first we have to realize that we don't live on the same side of Calvary that Moses did. We live in a world where God's revelation is not brought by a burning bush or by an angel of the Lord. But rather we find the true and ultimate revelation of God at the cross of Calvary in the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. In the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, God has finally and ultimately revealed himself. This is who God is. There's no other. He is the I am. He is still the I am. When Moses says that God will remain the I am, he meant it. In the death and resurrection of Christ, God is revealed. The God of the universe came and lived a perfect life, suffered a terrible death on a real historical Roman cross, He died for all of the sins of the world and was raised to life, victorious over sin and death, canceling our legal debt, forgiving us all of our trespasses. And now he is risen and ruling over the powers of this world, and in the life and work of Jesus Christ, God can hear us, God can understand us, and he chooses, and he chose to take action for us. Just like in the story of Moses, God reveals himself. Just like in the story of Moses, God wants you to be reminded in the very same way that he reminded Moses. He wants you to remember his faithfulness in Christ Jesus. See, God reminds us with the message of the gospel. And just like Christ says, the message of the gospel can produce faith even in the most terrible of situations or circumstances. You see, this is why I believe personally, and I think I would agree with Paul and with the rest of the New Testament writers and with God, hopefully, when I say that you need to wake up in the morning and when your feet hit the ground, you need to tell yourself that God lived, God died, and God rose again for yourself. And for the rest of the world. God did this for us. God did this for the world. God has revealed himself in the death and resurrection of his Son. And that's it. That's who God is. God is love. God has revealed himself to be benevolent. And he hears me and he understands me and he's going to be with me. And if you do that, I believe that you can begin to process God's calling on your life. Just like he called Moses, he calls us to faith. Because just like Moses, we really don't have any of the work to do. We don't have any of the burden to bear. In the work and the death and the resurrection of Christ, the work is finished. And now we are called to be witnesses to this revelation of God. We are called to remind ourselves daily of this gospel message, but not only ourselves, but others. We are called by faith to be obedient to God's call, to remind the world that God has reconciled it to himself. See, we are the bearers of this good news. In faith, in obedience, respond to God. Respond to God. And if you remember correctly, Moses wasn't the brave little white girl from a horror movie at the end of the story. He was the deer in the headlights. And just like Moses, we may now be trembling before God, realizing that in his revelation, he has reminded us of who he is, and he has called us to be something and be a part of something way greater than ourselves. And then we look at ourselves and we are trembling because we are more aware of every flaw we've ever had more than ever. And this is just the way it is. I'm just going to tell you how it is. Exactly. I'm just going to be real. When you realize what God's calling is on your life, and it's going to be the most scary thing you've ever realized. When you realize that God has called you to be the bearer of the most important message the world has ever heard, you're going to start thinking about every inadequacy and every flaw and every unqualification that you could possibly have. But if you would just dwell and rest on who God has revealed himself to be, and if you would allow God to remind you of what he did on the cross for you, only then can you be obedient to his calling and understanding that it is not your inadequacies. It is not you, it is God working through you. And then just like Moses, realizing the revelation, being reminded of the promises, and being obedient to the call, I think we too can lead many, many people out of slavery. Let's pray. Father, I thank you for who you are. God, I thank you that you are the I am. God, you are the God who is and will be. God, I thank you that you are Lord. That your name is Yahweh, God. Your very name reminds us of every promise that you have ever given us. God, I thank you that here in the story of Moses we can learn something, and we can learn something about who you are. God, I thank you that here in this story and in the death and resurrection of Christ, God, that you hear us, God, that you understand us, and God, that you have chosen to act on our behalf. God, we cannot thank you enough. God, right now I ask that you would remind us of these promises that you have to us. God, I ask that you would never let us forget. God, nobody can repay your sacrifice, but what we can do to honor it is to remember. To remember and to reflect. And God, finally, thank you for your calling. Thank you that your yoke is indeed easy. Thank you that your burden is light. Thank you that all we have to do is believe. That all we have to do is trust. God, that you do all the work. That you pay the price. And God, we just ask that you would continue to reveal yourself to us every day. God, most importantly, we just thank you for Jesus. And it's his holy name we pray. Amen.